I love AI. I use it every day. And I'm about to say something that would probably get me thrown out of most venture capitalist offices. And that is the only purpose of AI, the only place it actually delivers productivity, the only place it actually earns its keep is in building tools, specifically building coding tools. Everything else you've been told, the scientific revolution, the 10 times more productivity workforce, the agents that will replace whole departments. At this point, all that is just a promise, not a result. Now, before you fire up your keyboards to disagree with me, let's do something radical. Let's agree on what productivity actually means, because that word gets thrown around a lot, usually right before someone asks you for money. The coconut economy. Picture an island, a couple of dozen people, and everyone has needs: food, shelter, and because we're human, even on a deserted island, entertainment. So the people divide up into work. One person builds houses, one person raises cows, and someone inevitably becomes the island's stand up comedian to provide the entertainment. And to keep track of who owes what, the islanders pick a currency. Let's call it coconuts. And just like that, congratulations, you have an economy. That's the whole thing. That's how humans get along. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Say it cost 5 coconuts to have someone build you a house, and a tenth of a coconut to get yourself a cow. One day, someone stands up and says, "Wait, I can build you that house for half a coconut." Now, stop right there, because that person just did something real. That person produced a productivity gain. Now, maybe they build it cheaper, maybe faster, maybe both. Doesn't matter. The same need is being met at a fraction of the cost, a fraction of the coconuts. And now everyone on the island has 4.5 coconuts left over to spend after buying a house. And they can now spend it on cows or comedy. This is what we mean by a meaningful productivity gain. Not vibes, not a press release, not a keynote, fewer coconuts. Same house. Now hold on to that test, because we're going to use it on everything. Now, what are we actually talking about? Before we point the coconut test at AI, we have to be precise about what AI even is. Because AI has become a word that means everything, which is a sneaky way of meaning nothing. The AI everyone is actually talking about, the thing in that chat window, the thing raising money, is large language models. And the LLM, well, what does it do? It creates text, audio, or video. That's it. That's the entire output of LLM. Text, audio, video. Now let's walk down that list with our coconut test in hand. Audio and video generation. Image, music, voice. Real impressive. Genuinely useful to the individual artist who's using it. It helps one creator make a thing they were already going to make. Now that's nice, but it doesn't ripple outward and lower everyone's coconut bill. It's a personal tool, not an economic engine. Which leaves text. And when LLM generates text, that becomes code. That's the one thing where the magic actually happens, because programming is the one kind of text that turns around and builds a tool. And the tool is what makes everyone else more productive. Watch the chain. 1. AI helps the developer build an application faster and better. 2. That application helps its users get their job done. 3. Those users are now genuinely more productive. In some cases, and this is the part that people miss, without AI assistant coding, sometimes that application might not exist at all. The coconut math wouldn't have worked. The cost to build it would have been more then people were willing to pay. In other cases, it would exist, but without the features that the people actually need to be productive, because those features were going to sit on that backlog until the heat death of the universe. Either way, the gain is real and it flows through the tool. AI made the house cost half a coconut, and that is the win. That's the whole win. But everyone uses AI directly now, and this is where the venture capitalists enter the chat. The pitch goes like this: forget developers. Everyone is using AI directly now, and everyone is more productive. Knowledge workers, executives, your dentists. Look, I'm sure somewhere someone is living that dream. And when I actually go looking for the direct use productivity gains, the honest coconut denominated ones, here's a complete list of what I found. People can write emails, documents, project plans faster. That's it. That's the list. The faster project plans are nice, but a project plan is just a promise of productivity. It's not the productivity itself. On the island, that's someone handing you a beautifully formatted document titled House Construction Roadmap, a Phased Approach, and still charging you 5 coconuts. Bain & Company surveyed 951 executives at companies pulling in over $100 million a year. 40% of them reported cost savings of 10% or less. And the 10% of what exactly? No one could say. Now, when your own consultants have to remind you to check whether you're getting a return on your investment, that's not a technology worth paying for itself. That's a technology looking for an excuse. No one's coconut bill went down. It's a demo wearing a suit. But AI is curing diseases and winning Nobel Prizes. Now, someone's going to push back with the big one, the scientific breakthroughs. AI is folding proteins, discovering materials, accelerating research. Surely that's productivity that dwarfs some developer shipping a web app. And I want to be careful here because there's real science happening. But look closely at every one of those stories and you'll find the same thing. A human being sitting between whatever the AI contributed and the final results. Humans frame the problem. Humans decide which of the 10,000 AI outputs is worth a second look. Humans run the experiment, interpret it, and stake their name on it. Giving the AI credit for the breakthrough is like giving a hand calculator a large chunk of the credit for the Black-Scholes model. Yes, the calculator did arithmetic fast and accurate, but no one puts the calculator on the Nobel podium. The insight, the judgment, the responsibility, that stays with the human the whole time. So when someone tells you that AI made a scientific breakthrough, ask where the human was standing, because the human was always standing right there, doing the important part that actually counts. Let's talk about agents. Now, the counter argument is that the chat window is just talk, but AI agents, they don't just talk. Agents do things. And that's true. That's the whole pitch. With an agent, the AI stops describing the work and tries to actually perform the work. The AI agent is steered by the output of the LLM, and it's supposed to replace the real actions of a human, answering customer support emails, filing tickets, processing refunds, not advising the worker, being the worker. If that worked, if that really worked, it would finally be a coconut lowering machine. That would be the one that would make me eat my words. So why am I not eating my words? Because of the bill, the cost. For years, AI companies have subsidized the cost of the tokens, which are the raw fuel an agent burns to think and act. They ran it below the cost to get us all hooked. Classic playbook. Anthropic was letting people burn somewhere between $8 and $13 of tokens for every single dollar they paid in a subscription. That's not a business. That's an open bar. And then in the first quarter of 2026, the bar closed. Anthropic and OpenAI quietly moved their enterprise customers onto token-based billing, charging for the fuel actually burned. And the moment the real number showed up, everyone started screaming. One company, according to Axios, accidentally ran up a $500 million in a single month after forgetting to set their spending limit. Walmart started capping its internal coding tool, and Amazon literally told its staff to stop using AI just for the sake of using AI. Now do the coconut math on that. An agent that runs a task all day, reasoning, retrying, calling tools, burning tokens the whole time, at a real unsubsidized prices can cost more to operate than it would cost to just pay the human an hourly wage to do the same job. Read that back. The machine built to be cheaper than the human is now more expensive than the human. Uber's COO said the quiet part out loud. It was just getting too hard to justify the spend. Because it was very hard to draw a line from all those tokens to a single feature a customer actually wanted. The house still costs 5 coconuts. We just built a very sophisticated robot to hand you the same invoice. So here's the takeaway. Here's where this lands. If you want to find out where AI is genuinely earning its keep, stop watching people talking to AI. Watch people actually building something real with it. AI makes coding faster, cheaper, and better. The applications we programmers ship are what makes everyone else more productive. The value was never in the chat window, it's in what the chat window helps you ship. This is why I feel this AI bubble is going to crash. Because the market isn't priced for just a very good tool for programmers. It's priced for that science fiction version, the autonomous AI everything. The agents replacing the workforce. The coconuts just aren't showing up. And it's not getting cheaper on its own either. The data centers all this runs on are costing something like $50 billion per gigawatt. And NVIDIA's own CEO says the next generation runs 80 to 100 billion. 4 years and over $1 trillion into this, AI costs more than it did 3 years ago, not less. If the whole promise was costs always come down, the receipts are pointing the other way. So the next time someone tells you AI is making their whole organization more productive, ask them one simple question. How many coconuts did the house cost? If the answer is still 5, it's not productivity. It's just a demo.